We're going to go to Brooklyn Park, where we have a man who ends up breaking into a woman's home, sexually assaulting, all while out on supervised release. I've said this before, it could have been prevented.
A Brooklyn Park mother woke up to a nightmare in her bedroom. A man with a gun had broken in, demanding money, then sexually assaulting her. WCCO's Jeff Wagner spoke with the woman who's praying that man is caught.
I'm like, please, don't do this. I don't have money. I don't have anything, please.
Carol is describing what she considers the most terrifying 5 minutes of her life. A man had broken into her townhome near Brooklyn Boulevard and Hampshire Avenue North just before 5 a.m., waking her as he entered her room.
I still picture him, and I pictured the gun in my head. I mean, plain blank.
Carol says he tied up her mouth and hands using an ace wrap he found in a drawer. When she didn't give him money, he started groping her on the bed, which then turned into a struggle for his gun.
He's trying to do all that extra stuff, raising my leg, doing this, and like, let go of me, let go of my pants. I'm like, no.
The fight spilled into the hallway before the man took off, allowing Carol to run to her kid's bedroom and call 911. Police from Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, and Crystal responded.
This type of circumstance is very rare and very unusual, and of course, it's something that is taken very, very seriously. It's scary.
Officers searched the area with the help of K-9s but couldn't find the man. They're asking neighbors to check their surveillance cameras and look for discarded clothing around their homes, anything that might lead them to the suspect.
There are so many demons in this world, y'all. Sick individuals who think that they can take whatever they want from women, children. But this one could have been prevented. Let's get over into it and see who the suspect is.
Breaking new developments in the Brooklyn Park home break-ins and sexual assaults. Court documents just into the newsroom charge the suspect with 8 counts of criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of burglary.
Police arrested 25-year-old Darius Ahmad Olson Baker last evening after he allegedly attacked a woman at gunpoint yesterday morning and another woman last Friday.
Brett Hofflin has been digging into Olson Baker's recent release from prison, his criminal history, and how police are connecting with concerned residents tonight. He joins us live in Brooklyn Park. Brett.
Yeah, Lindsay and Kevin, we're outside of Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, and this is where the police are hosting a community meeting to essentially debrief about what happened and transpired over the last week. Just within the last few minutes, we've seen a lot of people show up in this parking lot. We've seen some police unloading some things just to simply have a conversation with these neighborhoods that have been affected. But tonight, there are still a lot of questions about this suspect.
To say that it's alarming, that's exactly accurate. It is alarming.
Tonight, 25-year-old Darius Ahmad Olson Baker is in custody again. This time arrested for allegedly breaking into 2 Brooklyn Park homes over the last week and sexually assaulting 2 women. Earlier this month, he was released from prison after being sentenced in 2023 to 60 months on a firearm charge. We checked with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, and they confirmed the timeline adds up. He served the first 2/3 of his sentence incarcerated and the final third to be on supervised release.
Minnesota is a long-standing practice of this. The 2/3 in prison, 1/3 on release is not abnormal.
Okay, it's not abnormal, but is it right? Why can't we just, I mean, maybe because I don't ever plan to commit a crime. But what's wrong with criminals serving the full term of whatever they're given? What is wrong with that? I don't see it's a tragic situation that I feel like could have been prevented. 2/3 of his sentence and then the last 1/3 and he immediately attacks 2 women. I don't know if y'all didn't do your research on him or if he just lied too good enough to where it showed that he deserved to be out, or does it not matter? And if he served 2/3, no matter what he's done, he's allowed to be on supervised release. The world is crazy, y'all. Let's keep going.
Brooklyn Park police say a lead from one of their own led them to Olson Baker.
He was aware of an individual that Brooklyn Park Police Department has had contacts with in the past who exhibited similar behavior many years ago of breaking into the homes of victims.
I asked police if he was ever arrested for these specific crimes, but they told us to submit a data request because there are several incident reports. As far as his supervised release,
basically, it's a situation where you're released into the community, but it's under certain restrictions.
Rachel Moran, who is a professor at the University of St. Thomas School of Law, tells me those restrictions vary, but for a firearms case, they can generally go where they want.
There's probably check-in points, so maybe they need to be in contact with their supervised release officer.
And again, just within the last hour, we learned more from those charges, including that Olson Baker, quote, had a significant juvenile history of committing burglaries in Brooklyn Park. Also, within the last few minutes, I heard about the terms of his supervised release. It included anger management and domestic abuse training, no drugs or alcohol, and checking in with a probation officer. Didn't mention anything about where he needed to stay in particular. We are going to put all those terms onto our website once we get that on our online at KSTP.com. Again, this meeting.
Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to see what else we can find out about this crazy case. But this is some of the things that makes me not like the justice system and think we need some kind of reform. But let's get over into this and just finish up this case. So as we know, we got the 25-year-old Darius, a Minneapolis man was arrested and charged with 10 felony counts following a string of home invasions, sexual assaults in the Brooklyn Park area. So the attorney says with the 10 felonies, including multiple counts of first and second degree criminal sexual assault, as well as first degree burglary, he is currently held in jail on a $1 million bond. So according to the complaints, these attacks occurred shortly after the suspect was released from prison on July 7th, 2026. The first incident 10 days after he was released, a woman was assaulted at gunpoint in her home. And then a few days after that, on July 22nd, a second sexual assault occurred where a victim and her child was threatened. So following the second incident, police identified the suspect leading to his arrest, and that same evening, DNA evidence from a leg tie linked him to the first scene. So I did want to get more details on the suspect himself. So we know he is a 25-year-old Darius. Juvenile history. So the documented juvenile history of him had a history of home break-ins. He was a delinquent for a first degree burglaries, 4 separate times between 2015 and 2019. In one of those instances, he broke into and crawled into bed with a young girl. He showed signs of a sexual deviant from a young age. So it's only if he kept to this life of crime, it just makes sense that to do something this despicable when he grows up. So he has prior convictions for 4th degree assaults of a police officer and multiple weapons violations, including being a felon in possession of a firearm. He was serving a 60-month prison sentence for a firearm conviction, and then he was released on supervised parole July 7th. And just 10 days later, he did his first assault. Upon his release, he moved into the same townhome complex as his first victim. See, this is, and I bet you the victim had no idea. She had no idea that he just moved in. So a Brooklyn Park police officer recognized his specific operations from his previous crimes, and investigators confirmed his identity by matching his DNA to a mixture found on a leg tie at the July 17th crime scene. This could have been truly prevented. And you could tell just from a young age what type of man he would grow up to. They said that he climbed into the young women's beds when he broke into their homes at a young age. And then are we surprised at what he does when he grows up? There are some sick people in this world, truly sick, but this is why we got to review this type of stuff together, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.